And believe it or not, this was originally created for mental practice because I'd gone to Disney World with my family. I think back in 2015, it was the first time I'd been away from the piano for that long. And everybody else, if they're on their phones or we're just waiting in a long line, I was like, I might as well practice because we're not doing much else on this. I mean, sometimes we're chatting, which is great, but other times, if I'm on my phone anyway, I might as well either read a physical book or I might as well do some practice with the sheet music. Actually, when I was like a kid at Disney a long time ago, I was reading like the Da Vinci Code while online. So I guess I've always been this way, but I hadn't developed mental practice like really at all at that time. I mean, I could imagine parts of my playing, but I hadn't actually like tried to do it seriously. And I was struck by how difficult it was to picture certain areas. I was playing Bach Busoni Chaconne, Brahms Opus 118, the entire set, and some of it was very dense. And so I started thinking, like, how can I make it so it's easier to picture? Because it's like I can picture some parts of the music, but not all. And some areas are much fuzzier than others, right? If you try to imagine certain parts of your music, maybe you can imagine yourself playing some parts, maybe one hand, but other parts are very, very difficult to see. And I believe that, unless my memory is failing me, I believe that's when my logical methodology started developing. So everything, if you guys have seen, if you search for some of those things I'd spoken about earlier, it applies to you physically, obviously, practicing little sections at the piano, playing little parts, and then linking them together. But I believe that mental practice was the original source of this because I thought, like, well, I can picture little sections clearly in my mind, but picturing large sections, both hands, if I'm picturing like Revolutionary Etude or something, Chopin, it's difficult. And so I had to start small. And then later I realized, like, obviously everything mentally, everything originates in the mind. That can apply physically as well too. And so I started developing all of that, and eventually I developed notation for both physical and mental practicing. And I want to show you guys. So the notation for mental practice, you can see that I put them in these little angle brackets. And I don't talk about this tons.